campus. Young people are go hard from campus. Come on, tell me walk one. Campus connection, yeah, and that's a one now, yeah. Walk one from campus. How we are carry hard from campus. Come on, tell me walk one. Campus connection, yeah, and that's a one. Hey, some make us on then listen, let me tell you this. Students, I wanna make we do this. Oh yes, we create this space just for you. Make we talk about you, make we talk about school, government, and politics, sports, academics, anything that concern you. I don't know where to pass you. It's all about the gospel. So tell you what one from campus. That's how we done from campus. Come on, tell me what one. Campus connection, yeah, and that's one. I want one from campus. And we are coming down from campus. Come on, tell me what one. I want one. Hey, one, everybody want.
What? Are we twinning today?
Twinning. What is going on? Yo, Radaland probably saying that okay, they totally planned it. No, guys, it's the
No,
first
we
I've
did
seen
not.
Anesta since last week. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
shall we hail up our people?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Campus Connection. It's another week, it's another episode, and it's a very special episode this week. We will be talking about technology and children, or children and technology. And we have two
Hey everyone,
AI
quick question.
gurus
Can you tell
who
this
will
is
be
an AI
joining us.
generated?
Looking forward to whatever that
Probably
was.
just a little sneak peek from the tech team.
I guess. But yes, welcome. I'm Anesta and
And I'm Jonathan, and it's part two of the conversation children and technology. We want to find out, is technology helping our children, or are we having some drawbacks with this whole, artificial intelligence, the internet, all of those things? What kind of effects, are these things having on our children? You have to stick around to find out because we are going in and we want to really dissect this whole situation and to find out what's really happening as relates to children and technology.
absolutely. And if you by any chance are hearing this thunder in the background, saints pray. It is raining cats and dogs where I am. But we will push on nonetheless because we have an exciting show for you. And of course, we have education news and bulletin coming up in a few minutes. We also have Creative Block with Miss Ruth Lawrence. She is the founder, managing director of Power Her Moves Services. At 5:50, we have Pastor Ricardo Edwards. He is from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Jamaica and Sports Outreach in the USA. And we'll be talking with him about his special mission. Looking forward to hearing a little bit about that. And then, of course, as Jonathan mentioned, we do have that exciting discussion at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, looking so very forward to that.
Absolutely. So you want to stick and stay, but for those of you who may not, be listening on radio, perhaps you are watching us on our live stream at Love 101 FM Jamaica. That's on
Mhm.
Facebook or on YouTube. Go ahead and share the live. Tell somebody about the show. Because we want to have a fruitful discussion with you as well. Send in your comments. You can interact with us also via WhatsApp at 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. So we want to hear from you. Send in your comments. What do you think about children and technology? Children interacting with their tablets, parents leaving them unattended because oh, they're watching what's the name of that show? Um oh my lord.
Wow. Which one?
Wow, Coco Melon. Coco
Ah,
Melon.
okay. I
There's
was
so many.
literally
Wait,
just
I think
watching
there's
that.
Coco Melon. Um, I'm not even going to try to remember all of them, but the shows that children are watching.
Right, Peppa
Um,
Pig and them things
Peppa
there.
Pig, Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol. They're coming back to me now.
Oh,
They're
okay.
absolutely
Yeah.
coming back to me now. So we want to find out what kind of um, dangers, if there are any dangers to children interacting with technology, or if technology is actually enhancing how children view the world and how they interact with society on a whole. So you want to stick and stay for that. At this point in time, we're going to go straight into our education news and bulletin. So we will now invite. Nope, actually, let us go on ahead and have that done. All right, so we're going to put education news and bulletin on a quick. Okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. So we have Elaine here who will be doing the education news and bulletin for us.
Good
Can go ahead,
afternoon.
Elaine. Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Good afternoon to those who are listening. In today's news, technical and vocational subjects are to be introduced into primary school. Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams, noted at an international conference that technical and vocational education and training, TVET, is offered in secondary schools. And in addition, the ministry is looking to introduce the subject areas at the primary level to ensure that students are equipped with the knowledge and skills to meet labor market needs. She further stated that a national mandate is being pursued to get more TVET teachers into schools as it expands into primary schools. In addition, Ms. Williams said that legislative changes will be made to allow the University Council of Jamaica, UCJ, to accredit TVET programs, and I quote, using the same rigor as they would for traditional academic programs. In other news, there is a new UWI Mona principal taking office on August 1st. The University of the West Indies, UWI, officially announced the appointment of Professor Denzel A. Williams as principal of the Mona campus effective August 1, 2023. He succeeds Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal Professor Dale Webber, who resumes teaching and research duties as a marine biologist after July 31st, 2023. Calabar High principal resigns. The principal of Calabar High School, Albert Corocho, has resigned from the post. The resignation takes effect on August 31st, 2023. An internal memo stated that the school board has received and accepted the resignation. Mr. Carcho has been the principal of the Red Hills Road Institution for more than 10 years. It was further stated that the board has put in place arrangements to ensure the continued sound management of the school as it begins the process of identifying their next principal. In our bulletins, Bureau of Standards Jamaica (BSJ) announces World Food Safety Day Jungle Competition under the theme Food Standards Save Lives this Thursday, June 8, 2023. For more information, follow their Instagram at standardsja for a chance to win a gift basket. Passion and Purity presents Youth Summer Camp 2023, August 2 to 5, 4 days and 3 nights. Cost is $12,850, which includes meals and accommodations at the hostel, 11 Embers Way, Meadowbrook Park, St. Andrew. Register at PPCamp 2023, or you can call 876-779-7171 for more information. The Shadeen Mackenzie Ministries will be hosting a gospel concert called Open Heaven, Feel the Rain. This will be happening on June 24, 2023 at the St. John's Road Church of God in Jamaica in Spanish Town beginning at 6:30. Ministry by Mrs. Travell Clark Wine, John Mark Wigan, and many others. These are what we have for today's news and bulletins. Thank you for listening. I will now hand over back to our host.
Awesome job.
Right.
That was
Thank you, Elaine.
that was really good. Mrs. Elaine St. John. She's on a journey to unfold her God given purpose through the use of her gifts and talents. All right, now.
All right, Elaine, thanks much. And that was education, news, and bulletin. It's so amazing how we get to interact with different persons through education, news, and bulletin.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to what they will be able to do with even this experience that they've gained through campus connection. All
Yeah.
right. Speaking of experiences, this young lady has been using experiences throughout her life to really champion the cause of all things that she would have or she finds herself doing. Talking about none other than Miss Ruth Lawrence, founder and managing director of Power Her Moves Services, which is a consultancy specializing in leveraging the power of digital media content creation and management, training, and facilitation for team enrichment.
Mm.
At Power Moves Services, we are here to help. We understand that creating content and managing platforms can be intimidating and time consuming. That's why we've launched our business to provide tailored solutions just for you. So that's basically what Power Moves Services entails. And we
Mhm.
are excited to even learn more about Power Moves and about Ruth as she shares with us this evening inside Creative Block. Ruth, greetings.
Hey,
Hello.
Jonathan. Hi, Anesta.
Hi. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. And I hope you're doing well as well.
We're doing good. It's great to have you on. Like we've spoken
hmm
many times, but never actually had you on the show with us to
Oh,
talk
so you
about.
see my puff now.
So we're seeing the
The
puff
good puff. The good puff.
live and direct. But yes,
Oh
tell us a
boy.
little bit about Power Her
Mhm.
Moves services. What's the mission and what's it all about?
Well, I'm pretty excited to share about Power Moves because this actually started in 2017 when I returned from India in that same year. It was I
Okay.
pursued a
I'm
six
not
weeks
just going to
course.
casually
I
just
know she's like,
mention, oh,
yeah,
I
when I
returned from
was in
India.
India and
But I
India.
have to give you the backstory. And that's
Yeah, please go ahead.
but
on one of
it
my
actually
many
was birthed
travels.
because
Yeah.
of a training that I did in India for about 6 weeks. It was an empowerment training
Mhm.
where we would be tasked to create entrepreneurial initiatives for women, particularly.
Mm.
And so when I returned home, I was like, listen, I am so. I was so excited. I was ready. I said, no, man, I
Mm-hmm.
need to launch my own business. Because I
Oh,
mean, I
okay.
would have been exposed to business trainings before. I would have facilitated business trainings. But yeah, you do your little thing one and two time, but you never really
Mhm.
consider actually turning this into a business. And so it was upon my return from India that I decided that hey, I believe I can start this business. And so we would have started around that time. It was a bit low scale, or
Mhm.
on a small scale, basically. But over time, since this year, I've transitioned now from my 9 to 5, and I've decided to kind of push a lot of energy
Mhm.
into maximizing the potential of other persons and their businesses. Because what I found is
Mhm.
that many churches, schools, institutions, they know what they're about, but many persons don't know what they do. And so
Mhm.
this is where we come in to really help to bolster those organizations by training their staff, by
Mhm.
putting them on the map as it relates to the digital platform so that persons can search them out when they want them. And so in a
Mhm.
nutshell, that's kind of what we do. It's really the capacity building for the staff, and also ensuring that their digital platforms are optimized so
Mhm.
that they're able to reach their target audience.
Wow, impressive.
That is really something else. And you mentioned that you transitioned from your 9 to 5, correct?
I mhm,
No, talk to us about that because as a creative, well, as a young person,
mhm.
um, moving
Jonathan, you
throughout
still think you're
society.
young, don't?
No man,
Listen, all of
you
us are
know,
young.
we are young at heart. Hello.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Not like my
Mhm.
birthday is not next week or anything. Honestly, what are you doing? Are you trying to? Anyway,
Anyway.
but based on you transitioning, what was
Mhm.
that like? And I want you to give us the real raw emotions because I'm sure creatives are listening. They may be in a
Mhm.
95 and they want to transition as well. So, what has that been like and what is it like now?
Mhm. All right. Well, I love that question. And I'm going to be frank with you. This has been on my heart for the past 5 years. So, initially, when I started, well, I'm actually transitioning from the Ministry of Education, where I actually spent almost 12 years there, 17 in total, if you would have included my voluntary years. So, you
Mm.
can picture that that was kind of almost all of my life being in that space.
Right.
However, for the past 5 years, it dawned on me that I needed to prepare myself to move into something else. What was that thing? I did not know.
Okay.
And so it is important that even as Christians, and for those who might not be in tune with God, to know what God is saying to you in that season. And I know that over time it was becoming stronger and stronger that I needed to transition. No, to Jonathan's question, I was scared out of my wits.
Mm.
I wrote my resignation letter for the past, I think, for 5 years since when I got the word. But when you get the word, but
Wow.
you kind of hide it round about because you don't really feel like that is the word from the Lord. So
Ah,
I kind of glanced over it. I did my own thing, and then there came a time this year when the Lord said, "Hey, I need for you to transition," and I was like, "Okay, Lord, I surrender." I was terrified, Jonathan and Anesta. I was terrified because all I knew was the work that I did, which was youth development, right? And whilst it is that I would have used my marketing degree here and there by, assisting organizations, I didn't really fully thrust myself into it. And so that for me was pretty scary. But to be honest, there's something awesome about the favor of God. When you know that you are a hard worker and you work well with others,
mhm,
when I transitioned and persons heard of my transition market, there were many tears. But then there was equal excitement about it. And persons were like, listen, we know you're good at this. We know, because I used to build graphics for people. I used to organize online campaigns for persons. But again, it
mhm,
wasn't on a large scale. But
mhm.
persons who knew of those kind of skills and abilities for me said, hey, we needed to work on this project. We needed to do this for us. And so things were slow when it started, but over time, through constant prayer and just seeking the face of God in terms of how I could position, I saw God actually started to open up doors. So now
All right,
I
Ruth,
am.
hold that point. Don't forget it. Don't
Yes.
forget it because this is getting good and I don't want our listeners to miss out. We have to take a quick break and we'll be back after these messages.
Sure.
Has it ever happened to you that you're scrolling on social media, spending the afternoon, and suddenly you accidentally give your crush a like? Don't get heated. Cool off with a Sprite. Dare and leave them a direct message. Who knows? They might even answer you. Sprite.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95%, and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
Rise with the sun and face the day with some Lasco instant chocolate. Pull it back, stir it up. Hot or cold, enjoy the chocolatey goodness any time of the day and unleash instant smiles, instant happiness. Calling all candidates registered for City and Guilds exams in June, reminding you that math is on the 6th and English on the 7th of June. Both exams will be at 9 a.m. sharp. You will sit your exams at your schools. Don't miss this opportunity provided by the Ministry of Education and Youth. This certification could be your passport to the future.
We are on the campus nights. Students are stuck up in a price.
I want to go on campus. Young people are going on campus. Come on, tell me what.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. I'm Anesta, and we have my co host with me, Jonathan, and we're also speaking with Miss Ruth Lawrence. She's the founder and managing director of Power Her Moves Services. It's a consultancy that specializes in leveraging the power of digital media, content creation, management, training, facilitation for team enrichment. A whole lot going on in that space, and we're so excited to be sharing with her now. Before the break, she was talking to us a little bit of how she made that transition from full-time working at the Ministry of Education, having the resignation letter in her under the bed in the drawer somewhere tucked away, but now finally making that decision. So Ruth, what was the reaction that you got, you know, when you finally made that step? What was the reaction that you got, even from those that you had worked with for so many years?
To be honest with you, Anista, it was rough. It was a shocker for my whole department, because not even me did know, say, that week when I tendered my resignation, it would have been the week. But you
Mhm.
know, when the Lord speaks to you, you just have to move. And so it was a lot of, oh, okay, who's gonna manage your programs now? Because at the
Mhm.
time I was managing 4 national programs: the
Mhm.
Students Council, the Prefecture, the Youth Ambassadors Program, and the Jamaica Union for Tertiary Students Program. So
Mhm.
among other things. So my portfolio was pretty broad. So I
Right.
think at the time it was really just to find suitable persons to fill that gap that I would have left. And I think
Mhm.
even now I still miss what I do, because youth development is all I know. But I
Right.
do know that when it comes to God, there are always new horizons, and it's important for you to walk into those horizons when they come.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Do you see a way for you to even bridge that youth development with what you're doing now? Do you see a way to bridge that gap?
Oh, absolutely. Bridging done gone long time. The bridging, to be honest with you, once a youth development practitioner, always a youth development practitioner. As a matter of fact, I would have launched 2 years ago my Yes Effect program, and that has impacted about 300 young persons so far as it relates to goal setting and vision boarding. And this is something that I'm still doing to this day. And these are free workshops. I go into schools, right? I also do them in churches, any space where you have young people that have a vision, want to know how them can actually achieve their dreams. I am there to support in any way I can. And so I'm still bridging the gap in terms of helping young persons to meet. As a matter of fact, I was so excited a while ago. I got several texts about who graduate with them upper second class honors and then first class honors. These are young persons I would have worked with. And they were like, listen, Miss Lawrence, we have to big you up. We have to share with you the good news. So I came on here pretty psyched that, listen, youth development will forever be my baby. And any young person that I can help, I will.
Wow.
What kind of advice would you give to a young person who is probably saying to themselves, you know, the corporate thing is not for me.
Mm.
I'm not seeing where I want to go into any particular career. I'm more
Mhm.
creative. I'm an entrepreneur. I feel like that's where I need to go. What kind of advice would you give to that young person, probably just leaving school?
And
All
and
right. So,
also, not
mhm.
to cut you, but also just share as well about that giveaway that you have for us before we wrap.
Okay, so real quick. So if you're listening, if you are a business owner, if you're connected to a church and you would require any of my services, when you call me, just tell me that you heard me on Campus Connection, and you would automatically get a 10% discount on the first
What?
service offering, a whole whopping 10%. So
I love
Jonathan
this show, you
and
know.
Anessa
I
have good,
really
good
love
things
this
going
show.
on, right?
What?
So
What?
10%. So just call me and tell me that, hey, you heard me on Campus Connection. And so automatically you get the 10% right there on your first service that I would offer to you or to your organization. To the question, no. One of the things
Hmm.
that I'd probably tell that young person is, depending on what it is that you want to start, that's going to be critical. Some things that you want to start will require capital. And if it is that you're going to a bank, if you're a young person coming straight out of school, sometimes it can be a tad bit difficult to get seed funding in that regard. And so
Mhm.
this is why you have the Jamaica Youth Business Trust that's there to help you to put together your business plan, to even seek out or help you to solicit seed funding, right?
Mhm.
So that's one thing I would tell you to do. The second thing is this: plan and ask yourself before you move into it, is this something I want to do now, or is it something I want to do later? Because if it's something that you want to do later, you probably might want to get an ordinary 9 to 5 where you can actually start funding your dream. A lot of times people take the 9 to 5 for granted and not realizing that your 9 to 5 can help you to fund your dream. A lot of things that I'm doing now, I actually funded that through my 9 to 5. So if you have to work smart and not hard. So
Mhm.
while you're working and you're stashing away maybe a little 15% of your salary, and that's to the goal, that's to the dream. So when you do transition, you have some amount of capital, so you can actually launch out, right? So it
Mm.
depends on, is this a no thing or is this a later thing? If it's
Mhm.
a no thing, I would definitely encourage you to go to the Jamaica Youth Business Trust. They have a myriad of grants for young persons to help you to develop yourself. And also the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, that's there to support you in terms of your business planning and even marketing as well. So there are
Wow.
many, many avenues for young
Boy,
persons to
wow.
get that kind of support.
I said earlier that I love this show and I really do mean it. Because I really do see where we we're helping people, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're really listening and taking into consideration the things that have been said, I hope you have been. This can really be impactful. Ruth, thank you so much for making the campus connection. Really do appreciate you and everything that you're doing. And all the very
Yes.
best for your future endeavors.
Thank you
Yes.
so much,
Yes.
guys. God bless you.
All
All
right.
right,
Take care.
cool, cool, awesome,
Awesome, awesome. So we have
absolutely
we
awesome.
have someone on the line
Mm-hmm.
who has a very special mission report. It's Pastor Ricardo Edwards from the
Mm-hmm.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes Jamaica and Sports Reach USA. Pastor Ricardo Edwards, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, I am good. A little hot, tired, but good.
And we're told that you also have one of your players on with you.
Yeah, I have Josh Balash with me right now. He's from Texas. He's a part of the team that came down to do sports ministry here in Jamaica.
Awesome.
Awesome,
Awesome.
awesome, awesome. So, what is the mission of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Jamaican Sports Reach?
Okay, well, Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Sports Reach, our aim is to use sports as a vehicle to reach coaches, athletes, youth, people for Jesus Christ. We realize that sports is a universal language. It's one of the things that you can use to connect and reach persons. So why not share the gospel truth? Because many a times, we don't have to call somebody to play football, basketball, anything. If they roll it on the basketball court or football field, persons want to come and beg your game and associate at Jamaica. And once that person come and ask for a game, that's building a relationship. I can know, say, can I pray for you? Can I talk with you? Can I share something with you? So that's our purpose, our mission to use sports. We're here in Jamaica using it to go to high schools, cultural exchange. We use it to go to homes, places we give away stuff. But the main purpose is to share our faith about the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Awesome. And how long have you been in Jamaica in operation?
All right, so FCA started in November of last year, FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, but I've been in Jamaica for most of my life before my migrate to miss me yam and dumpling them, but that's another story. But yes, so we're here. The team has been here from, well, last week FCA was here doing sports ministry seminar, talking with coaches, PE teachers, sports
Mhm.
church leaders, sorry, about how to use sports as a vehicle, a ministry, not just for recreation as some people see, but a ministry, a method of sharing an evangelistic message that Jesus saves, keeps, and satisfies. So now
Wow.
we're doing the physical aspect of it in terms of having sports reach here from USA. They have come down. Many of these
Mhm.
guys have raised their own funds. Yes, high school students. To just come down, see it as important to just reach somebody with Jesus. So I'm really honored to have them here in my country, to be
Mhm.
with them, and to see how they fellowship in the interactions that we've been having, how they've been sharing their testimony, not being ashamed of talking about Christ, with other young people that they're playing against. After the game, we have huddles where we talk to coaches, the players, coaches
Mhm.
who are in the audience about who Jesus is. So I'm super excited.
And
Awesome.
quickly, Pastor, what are some of the activities that you are doing currently?
All right. So now, well, before, as I said, we did seminars on how to use sports as a vehicle to share the gospel. We call it reaching without preaching. Now we're playing games. We started out Sunday. Arrived Saturday. Started with a five game tournament at GC Foster College.
Okay.
Then we went to Majestic Gardens where we interact with schools, infant schools, the community, and then we played a game for the community against a select team from Majestic Gardens. By the way, FCA players are within the age of 16 and 13-year-old and 12-year-olds
Mm-hmm.
that are here in Jamaica. So we've been doing that today. We were at camp. We went to Dunoon Technical where we had a chance to walk the campus, pray, talk with persons. And we went to Camperdown High School to play a game against a Camperdown under 14 team and a Camperdown select team. But after the game, we had a chance to share, give away stickers, just interact with the teams here, just act an exchange of culture, but more so to present Jesus Christ in the school. So these are some of the activities that we are doing now. And then we'll be heading off to go to Mona High tomorrow, Old Auburn Thursday, Manchester High on Friday, and Saturday we head to Herbert Morris to close it off.
Nice.
Okay. And Josh, what has it been like? Pardon
Let me
me?
talk to Josh.
Yeah, man. What has it been like being a part of this?
What?
What has it been like being a part of this movement?
No, hold on the other side. What has it been like?
All right. Seems as if we're having a bit of
What has it
trouble
been like?
connect.
I've loved it. I've loved meeting the new people, interacting with them. They're just so sweet. It's very different from America. A lot of Americans are kind of passive and they don't really interact too much. But
Yeah.
everyone in Jamaica that I've seen has been super friendly. I just love it so much.
Awesome,
Awesome.
awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for making the campus connection. And we're really looking forward to the impact that you and your team will be able to make within the sporting fraternity for the glory of God.
Amen. We thank you for having us. God bless you. All right.
All the best,
All right,
gentlemen.
blessings.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you have it.
That's
Sports
interesting.
ministry. That is very, very, very interesting to say the least. Um, that's some pretty exciting stuff to
Mm-hmm.
take, something like sports and say, hey, let's use this to evangelize. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But we have to take another break. You don't want to miss what is coming up after the break, so please stay with us.
What does CDD mean? CDD means customer due diligence. Customer due diligence is part of Know Your Customer processes used by financial institutions to identify their customers and verify their source of funds. It prevents money laundering. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
We can light up your world with the rays of the sun. Putting pure energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
Okay, we are on the campus heights. Students are stuck up in a prize.
Oh, Ami, are you? Welcome back. It's Campus Connection and it's our discussion time. We have with us Mr. Daniel Chen, an IT specialist who believes in using technology to propel the gospel to the world. And we also have with us Dr. Sheldon Campbell, an AI enthusiast, author, and pastor. So, welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me
Thank
again.
you. Thank you. Well, thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this show is happening because of a previous discussion we had with Dr. Campbell about AI and all of those things concerning technology.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to have a part two,
Right?
and of course, Daniel is very much, very, very much versed on this whole thing with AI and how it really is taking over, as some
Mhm.
people may have it, and the effects it may have or is having on on the children, on the church, on society on a whole. So I'm really excited about this conversation.
And
But to kick things, mhm.
we can't talk AI without showing Dr.
Oh
Campbell's
yes,
AI electronic video introduction of
Oh,
himself.
oh
Let's
my gosh.
see.
yes, sit back and enjoy,
I
ladies and
know.
gentlemen.
Wow.
Version of me. That's right, this video has been created from a... Hey everyone, quick question. Can you tell this is an AI generated version of me? That's right, this video has been created from a picture and my audio. Have you seen my other AI version? I guess I'll have him share. I'm Dr. Sheldon Campbell, or rather, here is a Disney Pixar animated version of me. I'm thrilled to introduce my book, Maximizing Technology, a guide to using ChatGPT and 250 other artificial intelligences to improve society. Drawing from my diverse background in academia and professional experience as a former academic dean and lecturer, I'm eager to make complex subjects both simple and engaging. My book delves into AI applications across the 7 spheres of society, including government, education, business, family, religion, media and arts, and entertainment. I'll start by exploring ChatGPT, a hot topic, by giving useful insights and tips with prompt engineering and ChatGPT tasks. Embark on this AI adventure and discover the book's value for yourself. Grab your copy of Maximizing Technology today.
Good
Wow.
job. Good
Wow,
Awesome,
wow,
job.
awesome,
wow.
So
awesome.
is ChatGPT
That was very impressive, but scary, but impressive.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, you
Can you
you
talk to us
definitely
about how
did
you
that.
went about creating that video using AI?
Right. Well, for sure, ChatGPT is, I consider it to be my AI assistant. So any script that I'm writing these days, I generally just put in a prompt, give it some specific instructions, and through that, it would say write a script for me. But then I wanted something to kind of spice it up a little bit, because I had already recognized that I could use a software called DID that actually takes pictures and animate, which you saw in the first scene. And then for the second one, what I actually did was I went on Midjourney, which is a very popular AI image generating platform, and I prompted it again, and I said I wanted it to be a Disney Pixar version of myself. So I had to play with it until I got it to where I was happy with it, and yeah, so that was it.
Wow.
Mhm.
So okay. So Daniel, you're not just an IT specialist, you're also a bishop. You are developing an app. So talk to us a little bit about what your app is all about and how are you using AI to do that?
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very humbled to be beside this PhD. I think he has
Oh,
more degrees than I has shoes. Uh, but it's a pleasure to be here. I was listening to the conversation last week, and you speak my language, and I know it's not easy to find everybody who will throw around the terms like prompt engineering and the models and all these things. So it's really good to be here. Um, the journey of the app actually started way back, and as I was listening to Miss Lawrence just now saying how she transitioned from her 9 to 5, I transitioned from my 9 to 5 after being in, what was it, 2 whole years of corporate after
Wow.
graduating from UTech, with my computer science degree. I transitioned into ministry full time. I made a deal with the Lord. This was at about my first year of school. I had
Mhm.
no guarantor for my student loan, and I said, Lord, if you want me to go through with this, give me a guarantor. And if you do, I'll use my gifts to serve you. Right?
Mm.
And so it's been 10 years now that I've been committed to working for the Lord using technology, using what
Wow.
I did learn on campus. And that now fast forward to, I think it was last year, 2022, around July, I was ordained as a bishop. And I knew that a part of that ordination was to use technology to further the kingdom, to get the gospel out beyond even just the English language, because that's a huge barrier as well. But and it's not even coincidentally, because we know better, right? But
Right.
around that time also, AI was on the rise, and not just in chat gpt, but things like machine learning, the translation of things, just different things that were up and coming, but they now had a boom. There was like an explosion happen across so many industries. It was just like a huge trickle effect, and I'm getting so excited just thinking about it. Sorry, but it started out looking into, okay, what are the tools? What have they developed? And it blew my mind as to exactly what was happening in this sphere, right? And then comes ChatGPT, right? and immediately I knew that this, of course, it has several implications that could be very negative, but immediately I thought to myself, how can we use this for the
All
gospel?
right. On the note of the negative implications, Daniel, we want to explore that a bit. Um, Imagine, all right. Now I'm going to talk as if I am putting in a prompt in Chat GPT.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Forward slash
Engineer
And you can
prompt.
let me
imagine.
know. You can let me know if I need to fix up the prompt or anything. So Daniel, imagine you're a parent of a 5-year-old who is spending a lot of time on their tablet, but they need to go outside to play. Write a script for the parent um, on what they should say to the child in order to foster a meaningful conversation so the child can understand the importance of playing outside.
Outside.
Jonathan, he's not
Oh, that's
Chat
so.
GPT.
Was anybody?
Oh,
I
sounded.
hope Dr. Campbell, I hope you were typing that in.
Oh no, I wasn't. But yeah. Oh boy.
But
Oh
I'm a
boy.
father of a 1 year
Mhm.
old, right? So I think I have 4 years to develop this prompt.
Yeah.
But just thinking ahead, my baby, he loves outside, right?
Mhm.
But he also wakes up, and like you said, Coco Melon is on the TV, right? Wakes up to that.
Mm.
There's also Grace's Corner. You know, she has a good morning song. Love it, right? So I believe that there is a part that technology does play, and can play in the raising of a child. However, as with everything, there's balance, and we had our own version of. I guess it pales in comparison now to what technology is out there now, but we had our own versions of technology, and I see how my parents raised me, knowing that there is technology. There was time limits on my computer time, right? There was an age limit on cable. We didn't get cable until we got to a certain age. So the responsibility is always back on the parent to parent that child, regardless of what is out there. And there is a lot out there. But the prompt I would write to this parent is to raise up your child in the way he should go, so that when he's
Mm.
old, he won't depart from it. And this scripture considers all of what will be out, what is out now. And we have to make that decision. How much are we going to expose our child to it? Educate ourselves as to the dangers of technology as well, and use that now and let the Lord lead you in raising this child.
Could I jump? Could I jump in a little bit
Sure.
there?
Absolutely.
All right. So, yes, I do have kids who have passed 5. But what I would do, just to in terms of the prompt. So
Mhm.
one of the things I love about ChatGPT is that if you say write for a 5-year-old, it will write for a 5-year-old. Um,
Yeah.
so, so what I would do is, I would just simply say, what are the ways in which technology is being helpful and harmful, and then I would say and write it for a 5-year-old, and then if
Mhm.
and it's going to, trust me, every time I've done it and I've shown it in terms of my presentations, people are blown away that it literally
Mm,
writes like a 5 year old. And it's
mm-hmm.
going, so it's going to then tell you about, you shouldn't spend too much time on the screen, and physical exercise is good. And it lists all of the, all of the things that you would expect a parent to say. It goes into stuff like, if you're spending too much time on the screen, maybe it will lead to obesity, or it lead to sleep
Mm-hmm.
deprivation. I mean, all of these things, because I've actually put it in before. But I'm just saying,
Okay.
yeah. So, and it talks about this idea of, except not just chat gpt, but even other things like, other ai, like video games and things like that. And why it's important to have face-to-face social interaction, but it would put it in a way for a 5 year old. And that's what I like, that
Mm-hmm.
you can make it age specific.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah.
So, so question to both of you actually. And I guess we'll probably have to do it after the break, but let me give you some time to think about it. How do you see now AI in terms of helping to move the gospel forward,
Okay.
equipping the church even
Mhm.
for, just the climate that we're living in? So when we come back from this break, we'll be talking more on AI technology and our children. So stick and stay with us right here on Campus Connection.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with attorney at law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint. On Thursdays, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Educam Cooperative Credit Union, providing value through service, and Bashco, the store that gives you more. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the family station Love 101. Marmac Auto Parts, your Honda Ridgeline New Parts dealer located in Kingston. Call us at 326-7371 or 821-5232. Remember, we are your Honda Ridgeline New Parts dealer located in Kingston. Call us at 326-7371 or 821-5232 now.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are step up in a
All right, welcome back to Campus Connection. We are having a very interesting discussion on AI technology and our children. And it has certainly been interesting hearing from Dr. Sheldon Campbell, no stranger to the show. He's come back to talk to us about AI, about how we can use these different artificial intelligences to improve society. We also have with us Mr. Daniel Chen, an IT specialist and a bishop who is seeking to merge the two, really. And that was my question before the break. How do we now use AI technology and all of the different artificial intelligences that are available to us to equip the church to move the gospel forward in the climate that we're in? And I'm going to start with Daniel and then move to Dr. Campbell.
So, thanks for that question because this is something very close to my heart. I think my whole life is kind of centered around this kind of question. I believe with all my heart that technology was given to us, can I say, as a species, so that this same species that God wants to save, He will give them tools that will make it easier for those who have been saved to compel others to be saved. Right? So I think that's the first step. You have to believe that technology is not the enemy of the gospel, right? And then once you believe that, you start to ask the Lord, okay, Lord, how do I use it? Something that can be immediately demonized or immediately seen as something that's so negative. So when I asked the Lord that, he led me in the direction of learning how to develop an app, right?
Okay.
And this app is called the Bible Teacher. Now, I know last week Dr. Campbell said he would never use AI to write a sermon, and I agree, right? And I know that that's one of the things that it's one of these early tools that I saw was write a sermon, and just thinking about someone taking that, going up there and preaching that, there's a lot that's missing out of that. There's the inspiration of the Holy Ghost that's missing from that, and so much more. But what this app does, it takes the power of this artificial intelligence and machine learning, and it encapsulates what we know as truth and puts it there. Because if you go and ask a question to GPT right now, you may not agree with an answer, but there is no changing of the information for you. So what we had to do is train our own model. We had to develop our own data set that we believe is true, and instruct it and say, this is your truth app. And we had to tell the technology that whatever you answer, whatever questions you answer using this app, it should only be based on this. So we knew that it was going to be touchy, right? Letting people know that this is content that you're going to be getting, spiritual related content, but it also has an AI component to it. So there was a great responsibility upon us to make sure that these things are controlled. And as much as we could, and as much as the technology allows, we've tailored, we've restricted and constrained whatever information comes out of our app, so that we can ensure that whoever now has this app, we're confident in the answers that we receive, that they receive from it, and we're continuously developing it. And whatever measures are made available, we'll use those as well to constrain and to ensure the integrity of the gospel. And I believe that using technology, that's our first priority, making sure that it's not the technology now preaching, but now the integrity of the gospel is maintained even through our use of the technology. So that's where the Lord has been leading me in developing an app that will allow you to ask a question that's based on scripture, based on a scriptural principle. Design maybe a course or a YouTube series based on a principle, let's say faith or salvation. You have a YouTube channel that you want to, minister, but you don't know how to start, you don't know how to structure it, things like that. It is the world's first virtual ministerial assistant. And that's what it is, as Dr. Campbell would agree. It is an assistant. It's not the preacher and it's not the bishop. It is my assistant, and that's how we've tailored our app. And it's been
Awful.
extremely well received so far.
Okay.
Awesome. Dr. Campbell, your thoughts?
Well, wonderful. I mean, so you'd remember in the last time I was here, and I actually heard
Mm-hmm.
Daniel talking about it in terms of, so AI certainly is helping us, and we see that in the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
There are, because you talk about proclaiming the gospel. Well, I think a lot of persons leverage technology during the pandemic because you couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
Yes.
Also, Daniel mentioned this idea of translations. I mean, that's one of the most powerful things. A
Right.
lot of times we just think about English language because that's what we
Exactly.
speak here in Jamaica. But I
Mm-hmm.
was a missionary for many years. I've traveled all over the world with my wife and my kids. And when we went into different countries to share the gospel, we need a translator as well.
Exactly.
The cool thing about AI is, I remember trying Google Translate and all of these stuff when I used to go to all these different countries sharing the gospel. But nowadays, it is so crazy how you can literally use AI and they translate that one English into like 200 languages one go. It's
Right.
crazy.
Right.
So I mean, when you talk about gospel, I mean, I did mention last time that yeah, I'm not using it to write sermons, but certainly I use it no different than how I would use a commentary. So the point is, it's the next person in the room. So I will refer to it. When I was academic dean at CGST, naturally I used to teach pastors how to do hermeneutics and exegesis and all these fancy stuff. But the reality is, when you want to understand if your theology, so your theology is always based on the Bible, but you also need to incorporate things as well, because in our life we have to apply things. So like that's where, like, I don't even want to get into the terms, but there's, you might have heard of systematic theology and these things. Well, what happens is you bring in things to substantiate the truth of the gospel. So like, we would use science not to necessarily try to say that science is the arbiter of truth, but no, the Bible is. But science would augment the truth that we already know from the Bible, that kind of stuff. So what happens is AI is really good on those things, because you can simply just prompt the AI and say, give me examples that would substantiate or the truths of the Bible, and I'm telling you, it is fascinating to see what it's pulling. It's pulling for archaeology. It's pulling for all kind of studies. And so you talk about AIDS and helps. Listen, AI is ridiculous if you really want to create a masterpiece in whatever field. And I'm telling you, it is. It's, so for religion, Christianity, I think it's plus plus plus. Yes, there is negatives. We talked about the negatives. I actually thought we talk a little bit more on the negatives today, but certainly there is a lot of positive that can come from the AI. In terms of the negatives, I think we touched it somewhat. Some of the cyberbullying, some of the deep fakes, the social engineering, the scam of them using it to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on some of that, but there's a lot of good as well.
All right. All right. Well, this has certainly been an interesting discussion. I hope that if you're listening to us in Radioland or if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, that you would have learned something that you can now employ in whatever sphere of life. You know, it's interesting. Like shortly before this break, I used AI to help me to generate a caption for a post, and like you said, what you said is so true, Dr. Campbell. It can be used in any aspect of life, really.
Mm-hmm.
So it does have its positives, certainly. And it just comes down to who is using it and what you're
Right.
using it for.
Right.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time and for coming to share with us on the use of AI technologies and our children, our students. I know they appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. So thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All
Have a good
right.
day.
Take care.
Yeah, man. Blessings.
Boy,
Woo!
yet another powerful discussion about technology, AI, prompts, and all of that. I am wow.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
am wow. Can I say I am wow? I am wow.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man, I'm wowed, sure.
Yeah,
We're very, very thankful to Dr. Sheldon Campbell, AI enthusiast, author, and pastor, and to Mr. Daniel Chen, who is an IT specialist using technology to propel the gospel to the world. Thank you so much for joining in on our discussion this evening. And of course, earlier on, we had Miss Ruth Lyons, CEO of Power Her Moves. We had such an enriching conversation with her during Creative Block. We had Mrs. Elaine St. John with Education News and Bulletin. And we also had Pastor Ricardo Edwards from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Jamaica and Sports Reach in the USA with his special mission of using sports to evangelize. And Daniel is letting us know that the app that he was talking about is called the Bible Teacher. That's the Bible Teacher. I really do believe that you need to get this app so you can go ahead and download it from whatever platform that you are using, whether it's Android or Apple.
yeah,
Yeah. So the show finished
yeah.
just like that.
Such a good one, though. Such
Such
a
a good show. I love this show. I'm not going to lie. Really love this show. Special thanks to all our guests and to all the persons working behind the scenes to make Campus Connection what it is. We really do appreciate you. Remember, Sunday is Father's Day. That's the 18th of June, 2023. And on the 13th of June, Tuesday, we'll be having Men in Education, the pre-Father's Day show. So you don't want to miss that. And then on the 20th, it's the school leavers, all about the graduates. We're talking about everything concerning what happens after graduation. So you want to be here for that. So that's it for our show this week. See you next week as we explore more issues on Wagwan Pan Campus.
Bye bye.
Hey, walk one, everybody want more.